We're going to talk about eating for muscle gain. So just an overview, energy in, energy out, gaining, losing, maintaining, or body recomping. If we're talking about the far right, gaining muscle is just as difficult as losing fat. Okay? Just as difficult. I graduated high school at 128 pounds. And so from 18 to 28, I basically went through figuring out everything from scratch, reading through forums. Some of you kids might know what forums are. Other people are like, I don't know what that is. Where I would try to figure out what it would take for me to actually gain muscle. And so I went from 128 to 170, and I gained 50 pounds of muscle. And in that, learned a lot of things about what it really takes to build muscle, not just to get fat. And there's some nuances, there's some things. One, you have to be in a surplus of energy. There's no way around it. You have to eat more than you are putting out. Okay, that's highly individualized. Now, how much more also is a big shift, but plus 10 to 20% is about a window to be in to make the body go, okay, I have extra calories, I have enough calories, I have the right types of calories, now I'm doing enough resistance training, I know what to do, I'm creating demand, I have input, I create muscle. I'm literally creating more tissue. So you have to have a surplus of calories. Right? Carbohydrates, pre and post workout, because the quality of the workout has to be high. Right? If there's no intensity, and what by I mean, when I say intensity, I do not mean intensity as in the sense of hit of dying out of breath intensity. I mean you're putting in 100%, 10 out of 10 on all your lifts intensity. So there has to be intensity in lifts, there has to be volume, right? And there has to be frequency of lifting. And that depends on the person. That can vary from 3 to 6 days a week. And it also depends on the training age of the person, how much volume of work they need to do from working out. But carbs feed and fill the muscles. So eating muscle white carbs are going to fill the muscle with energy, fill it with glycogen so that it keeps itself full and happy. So eating before and after workout, you've got to give those muscles saying, okay, I'm giving you stuff, and I'm giving you more stuff. And then at the end of the day, I'm giving you more stuff so that when you go to bed, I understand there's still more stuff. Next thing, never go longer than 4 hours without protein. This is a little bit of bro science too. There used to be this thing for the longest time, you can never go longer than 90 minutes, or you need 30 grams every 30 hours. And some of it's true. There are some outliers. There's people who've practiced fasting and still gained muscle. I think that's a lot to do with genetics and background. It's impossible for me to gain muscle and fast. It's too much of a window without giving my body a stimulus to give it growth signals. So you have to be eating protein at high frequency, because protein is the second half of building the amino acids of the muscles. And if you go too long, right, without giving that signal to the muscles, if they're in a rebuilding stage, I lifted, I'm resting and recovering. During my rest recovery, I've got to be giving it signals. Here's protein, here's amino acids, here's amino acids, here's amino acids. So it's okay, all right, I know what to do with this stuff. And it's never going to huge giant breaks of 8-10 hours of going, well, I guess I just kind of hang out. And that's basically what your body's doing. So when you're gaining muscle, the frequency of protein intake is really, really important. Okay? I'm going to go deeper into the gain. I'm just going to go over the other two. Losing weight. Okay. Maintain re-body comp, equal energy in, energy out. Carbs, pre-post are optional but optimal, and then hitting the recommended protein. I put the body comp on there because it's very common for people in here to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, especially when they're new to our system or when they're refocused into the system. Because the amount of resistance training we're doing, this is called calorie repartitioning, to where it's taking calories that are inside your body and it's like, I don't know what to do with these. I think I'm gonna get rid of them. And then we give it resistance training and it's like, oh, I'll put it over here. And so when you're looking at like our 3 days on of like real lifting, especially in like muscle phase, it's common that someone could be in a body recomp and be gaining muscle, but they still have to have enough protein and they still have to have some carbs around workouts, or at least somewhere around their 3-hour window, to make muscle gain happen without body weight change up or down.
Most of the time, would you say, like, I want to gain muscle,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to require the scale to go up a little bit after you put
Yeah.
unless you're really focusing
Unless, yeah. So if you look at like amount of effort, so like when we did the taco diet, we were dialed in like 98%, 99% dialed in to like the whole process and eating out every day, which is really exhausting. And we were sticking to all of our principles of lifting weights. So it was possible for us to gain muscle and lose body fat and hold weight. But that's like years of experience and intuitive and like dialed in, super focused on everything, the whole picture. So it's possible, but the likelihood of it happening is rare without having muscle gain and weight gain. Okay, but that's also okay, because muscle gain, weight gain, depending on where you are in your process, may mean building up a metabolism. So if you're never hungry, going into a muscle building phase may help you build up a metabolism that will make a cut easier later down on the road. Okay, but you also have to be okay. If you're like, I want to gain muscle, you have to be okay with the scale not moving or moving up, and be intentional and that's, you're already setting up the appropriate expectation. Okay. Good. All right. And next one. Yeah. No, I'm gonna, yeah, as soon as this pops up. Okay. Other nuances about muscle gain. I'm pushing the buttons I have to push. Told you. Who did I tell? Okay, here we go. All right. So other things about muscle gain. We already went over this. Carbs are mostly from white rice. Carbs pre and post workout, making sure you're eating high frequency. Other things that are super important. Building muscle happens when you're not in the gym. Gaining strength happens when you're not in the gym. Gaining endurance happens a little bit of both. You have to be sleeping to give your body recovery time to understand, okay, I'm at rest, I have adaptations from training, I have food, I'm going to create more of myself. Sleep is crucial, has to happen, right? Low sleep and muscle gain is almost impossible. It's really, really, really hard to do. I would even say that sleep is more important in muscle gain than it is fat loss. But it's still crazy important, okay? At least 1 gram of protein per body weight. So we're 150 pounds. You need to be consuming at least 150 grams of protein. No way around that. And that's on the low end. The low end. A lot of it's going to be recommended at 1.3 or 1.4 to 1. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you're looking at 175 grams, 200 grams. So 1 to 1 minimum for muscle gain, right? If fat gains faster than muscle, you're overeating by too much. So to see the scale go up, to see muscle go up, and to see fat go up may happen. But if you're looking at something like in-body data week to week to week to week, and you're like, cool, weight's going up, muscle's going up, fat's going up, but I've gained 3 pounds of fat and 2 pounds of muscle, then I have not enough resistance training or I have too much calories. I need to make a shift somewhere because fat gain while gaining muscle may happen, but it shouldn't be more than what you're gaining in muscle. So that's when you know I'm eating too much. A lot of times you get scared, like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna gain so much fat. You might gain some, and that's okay because that's your body's understanding that's in a gaining mode. And as long as you're not gaining more fat than protein or than muscle mass, then you're fine. It'll go fast when you go back to maintenance. Okay. Every workout is near failure in reps. That just goes back to intensity, right? There are advanced ways of doing low volume, heavy weight muscle building. And we've tested systems before and we've built programs and it does work. It's really complex, but you can do it. But traditionally speaking, in the room we're in, you need to be doing stuff that's like, I could barely do one more every single movement, every single workout, every single set, because you have to be getting that muscle in your system that like, oh, I'm stressed, like I'm doing stuff. And it can't be, well, that was all right. Oh, okay. Like, it can't be any of that. You gotta be like, you gotta be pushing hard, right? You can still do it in 3 60-minute sessions. You don't have to live 2 hours a day in the gym 7 days a week. But when you are in the session, there needs to be a lot of intention with what you're doing with your lifts. Slightly different than strength training, even though there's some crossover. Okay? 1 pound of muscle is an amazing result. Stick with 4 to 12 weeks in a gain mode before switching. What's to expect from gaining muscle? If you were to gain 1 pound of muscle a month, you'd be doing pretty good, right? That'd be pretty good. And you most likely at that rate, you're probably not gaining any fat at that kind of rate. You can gain up to 1 pound a week, but you're cranking hard, real hard. And it's also okay if you do a full month of muscle gain and you're like, oh, I'm up like half a pound in muscle and nothing else has changed. Great. Then you're in a surplus. The surplus does not have to be gigantic. It just has to be noticeable. Cool? Great. Anything else about muscle gain? That make sense? Am I losing you guys? Okay.
What about, so like, I'm trying to do that, but once a week I do the in-body and it's just do the in-body.
Well, that's like a,
Is that complementary to eating,
well, when I say,
before I come, but I don't have to.
so when I say eat before and after workout, I'm talking like a 60-minute, 90-minute window. Like, you don't want to wake up and have breakfast at 7 a.m. and then not eat until after your workout at 10:30, right? So you could, like, if you're eating 60 minutes, 90 minutes before you work out, and then that you have half an hour, 45 minutes of no food, you get on the in-body and you lift, that's not that big of a deal, right? You're looking at like a 3-hour window. If my 3-hour window before and after exercise, am I consuming things, then I'm okay. It doesn't literally mean like eat, warm up. That makes sense?
At least an hour before I come.
90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes. Yeah.
And then the in-body doesn't, that's not considered.
It's not going to be a huge change, but the only thing with the in-body with that is if if I normally get on the InBody and I'm fasting for 6 hours and I get on it, compared to eating an hour before and getting on it, there might be a difference. But if I'm always getting on it, always eating an hour before, then the data is going to be consistent. Yeah. You don't want to be like, well, I didn't eat today, I'm grabbing an InBody, and then I just ate food, now I'm grabbing an InBody, because the testing is going to be a little off. We do have students who come in, they come in at like right at 10 minutes till, they're done with the InBody, and they've got 9 minutes to consume calories and eat before the warm-up gets going, and that's okay too. If you find foods that are easy on your GI system, I can eat while I lift. It doesn't matter. I could be eating sandwiches and doing deadlifts. My body doesn't care. My body loves it. Right? Yeah, InBody, you want to be consistent in time of day. If it's always morning, keep it morning. You don't want to do morning, afternoon, evening, morning, because then it's really going to be kind of funky. Cool? Anything else about muscle gain? Okay. And I'm just going to, because these are things that we want to know about. It's not really, there's like, that's pretty normal. Like naps also are adding to your sleep total. Because again, it's just, am I in enough recovery state? Right? Quality of sleep always trumps quantity all the time. So if you're getting if you're recording your sleep with whatever data or whatever trackers you're using, and you're getting high quality sleep and REM sleep and deep sleep in 6 hours, that's better than having super low quality for 8 hours. High quality sleep is always going to be better than volume of sleep, always. Yeah. So you just want to, no, there's nothing consistent, because the only thing consistent is how much high quality sleep can I get. Right? Okay, and then we'll just go over this real quick, because, I mean, obviously we all care about this. You want to think about loss flipping the equation in the opposite direction, right? I'm down 10 to 20%. I'm moving in high frequency. So I'm moving every single day. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, but I'm doing something every single day, because I'm trying to manipulate the energy equation as much as possible. Consistent resistance training, right? You can't lean into cardio. Can't lean. There's some playing around with walking experiments, but you need to be lifting weights, because you need to be maintaining muscle mass. Because muscle mass is the engine. You don't want to kill your engine when you're in a deficit. High volume, nutrient dense food and lower calorie food, salads, potatoes, right? You don't want to do a lot of stuff that's like cooked in fat, or something that's smaller, more calorie dense, like fast food type items are going to be sabotaging our efforts. You want to think about volume of food that keeps us full, big salads, cabbages, veggies, stuff like that, because that will hold us longer than smaller less nutrient dense foods. Carbs mostly on workout days, sleep at least 6 hours, high quality. Got to keep stress super low, because stress response, what is weight loss to your body? A stress response. So your little ape brain goes, something's wrong. I don't know what's happening here, but we must be stressed out. So if you add stress on intentionally stressing your body, it's going to be like, nah, we're not doing anything. We're not going to make any adjustments. I don't care what you're doing, how much jumpy stuff we're doing, or how much you're starving. I'm going to hold on to whatever it is, because I think you're trying to kill me. Right? I may have to go chase after a lion, and I don't have any food to do that. Okay, it's been ingrained in us for a long, 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 long time. If muscle loss is faster than fat loss, you're not eating enough. So that's the other end. If I look at the in-body data and I'm losing muscle faster than body fat, I know I'm not consuming enough and I'm not doing enough resistance training. Not good, because I'm also destroying my metabolism. Okay? And then, again, 1 pound of fat loss a month is an amazing result. Same type of numbers. 6 to 12 weeks in loss mode before switching. Anytime you do any of these, it's not 3 days I want to gain muscle, and then for the next weekend I'm going to lose fat, and then next week I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to focus on maintenance. No, you need to pick one, and you need to own it for a minimum of 4 weeks at a time. If I'm in maintenance, I'm in maintenance. That's where my head's at. I'm happy about it. If I'm in gain, I'm in gain. I'm going to do that until I get the results I want. I'm in fat loss, I'm in fat loss. 7 days a week, week after week after week. Okay? Good? But you have a cap out of about 12 to 16 weeks in any of those stages of gain or loss to where the body's going to stop changing. And you've got to go back to an intentional maintenance or an intentional gain. Okay? Just like we do rotating strength training programs, we did the same thing all the time. We had no adaptation. You've got to have stimulus for adaptation. Cool? Questions? All right. So close, guys. Yeah, you can stop.